Well, I would imagine that there are some people out there who maybe $1,000 in debt on their credit card, maybe a college student or somebody like that. And there's probably some people out there with 20, 30, 50, $100,000 in credit card debt or bad debt. I mean, at what point is there a certain level where somebody needs to be concerned? Is there a certain level where it makes sense to approach these options?
Well, when you say a level, sure, there probably is. You have to find that level. But the most important thing you have to do first is sit down and make up a budget, income versus expenses, and then look at the profile, your own financial profile.
It's not so much about how much debt you have, so much as it is about the equity and your income to cover those debts.
Right, the total picture. What are your assets? What are your liabilities? Just like if you were a business and you were analyzing your balance sheet. What are your assets? What are your liabilities? If your liabilities way outweigh your assets, far outweigh your assets, you might have to consult an attorney. If you think that you can reorder some of your assets and use them to pay off some of these debts, that's what hopefully sitting down and doing this budget will tell you.
Somebody who's thinking that, well, let me ask you this. At what point is it too late?
Well, I'm not sure what is the point at which it's too late. You don't know that until you first investigate your own situation. In other words, you contact your creditors, you tell them your situation, and you ask them if they can help you solve your problem.
Let me rephrase this. Let me put this into a perspective that I know people who have gone through a foreclosure. And in today's world, foreclosure just seems to be a very common theme. Mm-hmm. Very scary. I remember feeling scared for other people when they were going through what was going to happen. When you can't pay your mortgage and your bank is calling you saying you owe money on your house and you're a month past due, you're 4 months past due, you're a year past due, you're past due on your car. Am I too late to take control of the situation?
You could be. Now you're talking about secured debt. There are two types of debt you have to distinguish: secured and unsecured.
Okay.
If you have a lot of secured debt and you're not paying it, then that's a much more serious situation, because secured debt can't be negotiated because you have collateral on that debt. And if you're not able to pay it, that collateral could be forfeited.
So if somebody had the choice between paying $1,000 on a mortgage or paying their credit card bills of $1,000, you would advise
pay the mortgage.
Pay the mortgage
every time,
and then deal with the creditors on the credit card.
Exactly.
Okay, well, that's good information right away. And is that the kind of thing that we can expect to find in your publications?
Absolutely. We'll tell you how to prioritize your debts and how you should begin to develop a strategy for paying those debts off and what debts you should pay off first.
If somebody reads your publications and wants to get more information, are you available? Are you accessible through DebtPros21?
Yes, as a matter of fact, one of the things we're going to do on the website, which will be separate from Amazon, will be a Q&A, what they call an FAQ on the website. And when people will provide an email address to our members, once you buy one of our publications, you'll automatically become a member. We will provide that email address to our members, and you can ask us any kind of questions you want at any time, and we will try to answer them as promptly as possible. One of the purposes for doing that is we will hopefully build up a library of questions and answers on the website that people can refer to, almost like a dictionary of questions and answers on credit.
Well, I think what you're doing is fantastic. I think in today's day and age, credit's necessary. This isn't like, there was once a time where a little bit of credit and debt was necessary to get by, but it's essential. It's almost like you can't get by today without acquiring some debt, whether it's for an automobile, whether it's to go to college, whether it's to own a home, and the key is to manage it. Nobody can predict exactly what their future is going to hold for them. And when it starts to get out of hand, that's when you're saying, let's get educated. There's a lot of things that people don't know.
Right. And to your point, usually when people take on debt, they think it's manageable. They think they can pay it and manage to make the monthly payments. But From time to time, something happens. Let's say you have two people in the family employed. One of them loses their employment. An unanticipated situation. The most important thing to do there is to get out in front of the problem right away. Contact your creditors, let them know you've had a significant loss of income.
Well, let me interrupt you there, because isn't it true that most people, when the creditor calls, they don't want to pick up the phone? They hear them on the answering machine. They don't want to talk to them.
Yes, they feel guilty because they can't pay. You have to remember, the creditor...
Is that a bad thing? I mean, if the creditor's calling you, I mean, not advisable to run and hide?
Right. You should always communicate with your creditors. You have to remember, your creditors want to get the debt paid as best they can, or settle the debt as best they can, just as much as you do.
They're not the total enemy.
Exactly.
You just owe them money.
Exactly. And they just want to get paid. And if you can convince them that in your current situation you can't pay all the debt, but you can, pay a good part of it, they might be willing to settle for that.
So credit card debt is negotiable.
Exactly. Unsecured debt, most unsecured debt is negotiable. If you show someone that your financial situation has changed to the point where you can no longer pay the full amount of your debt, then in most cases your creditors are willing to negotiate.